Devastating.
Devastating.
All right, everybody, that's our setup of round number 12. Let's find out what happens. Over to Marshall and Paul with the call in the booth.
Thank you, Maria. Welcome to the booth here at the World Championship. Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon. And I mean, this is about as big as it gets if you're sitting in Simon Nielsen's seat with just one victory needed to secure that top 8 slot. And let's not forget, he started 0-2.
0-2 into 9-0. And if he locks a slot into the top 8, then Player of the Year is also up for grabs.
Incredible pressure on him, though it is spread out over potentially this round and next. But I'll tell you what, he'll want to take care of business right here and right now. The person who's going to try to stop him from doing just that, Anthony Lee, sitting across from him. He sleeved up Golgari mid-range for the tournament, and he's had quite a wild ride here as well. We followed him early in the morning on his booster draft. Now, though, we're in standard. Let's get underway in game number 1. Big picture matchup. Paul, who's favored? Who do you like here?
I think it's a pretty close matchup. Both, you know, this Azorius Soldiers deck has kind of a lower curve, but it's not the most aggressive deck. We have 2 more aggressive decks in the format in mono white and mono red. But of course, you sacrifice some of that to gain access to make disappear and counter magic to help you against the slower decks in the format. Now, this Golgari deck, it does have some somewhat expensive cards, but it also has cheap cards to interact. So Anthony Lee very well aware of the card Make Disappear and will do his best to play around that. One of the really important cards in this matchup for Anthony Lee is going to be that Duress that you see, right? Because that's a cheap way to deal with some of the counter magic, but also cards like Cut Down, Go for the Throat. Cards that allow you to also play at instant speed so that if you have that option, maybe you save that and pass to play around your opponent's Make Disappear.
Pair of Chrome coats here for Simon Nielsen. He did get Duressed. Not super effective.
It missed.
It did end up missing.
17.
And you see the Mosswood Dread Knight is on an adventure thanks to, what is it called? Oh, Dread Whispers.
Going to do the Dread of the main facing risk with reinforcements.
Oh my god.
Oh, right. And then, of course, going to convoke. This is going to be a huge turn here from Simon Nielsen.
Knight errant?
Yeah.
Everything's at the rest.
And he says, yeah, there's a reason I'm main facing this one. Here comes Knight Errant of Eos with Convoke. He had the 1 mana left over, plus the 4 creatures getting tapped. This is only turn 3.
Yeah, and the Golgari midrange deck, at least game 1, doesn't have a way to kind of clean up the board like this. Monty mentioned Path of Peril being one of the most important cards, but that's a card that you see in the sideboard. So this is going to be really tough here for Anthony Lee.
Near maximum on that X as well. Didn't quite see what he found, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, Simon's hand just kind of has it all here. We have the Iganjo too. The Regal Bunnycorn is a 6/6 if you play it next turn.
Oh, kidding.
No removal here for Anthony Lee. His only option here is probably just to run out a Graveyard Trespasser. Oh, never mind. Looks like there is a Virtue of Persistence, but no great target, right? You can kill a 1/1.
That is not a great use of your turn, generally speaking. So it is just going to be the Trespasser. No targets for that either. And he's going to pass the turn back. Of course, it does become daytime with that Trespasser hitting the battlefield.
Yeah, I imagine Simon is just interested in just playing as many threats here as possible. You get a free attack here from the Knight Errant as it is a 4/4. Could also consider just attacking with everything just to force 1 point of damage through. Looks like he ups against that, but hey, I mean, get you for 4. Oh my goodness. Sentinel.
Seriously?
Convoke, Bunnycorn, all the value.
Wow, this is insane here for Simon Nielsen. He's just overwhelming Anthony.
Oh, there's Harbin as well. 5 soldiers are on the battlefield, so next turn they're all gonna fly. They're getting bigger.
What did you not get Harbin? What can you reveal?
Anthony's just dumbstruck here.
Yeah.
Look at him. It's like, what is going on?
Yep.
That's all you can say.
That's
Yep.
about all you can do. Unbelievable draw here from Simon Nielsen. I mean, Anthony drew a card, played a 3/3.
Hey, Anthony played a spell on turns 1, 2, and 3 this game.
True, yeah, he did play Duress.
And he is extremely behind.
Missed with everything.
I mean, I'm thinking the best possible draw here would probably be a Shieldred off the top, right? But
sure. And then he just lose.
And then you die.
Yeah, when your best possible draw isn't very good, you're in a really bad spot.
Yep. And there's the 6/6 bunny corn. Excuse me, 7/7.
The bunny ears.
Simon gets to joke around about the artwork on his cards. He's so far ahead.
And Anthony did find the best possible in the Shieldred here, but not sure that it's going to be good enough given that he was able to find, that Simon was able to find that Harbin. And with the 5 soldiers that he can attack with, they're all going to gain flying. So that's an attack for 11 in the air. Now, I suppose you can kill a soldier here.
So he's going to kill a soldier and then scoop up his card. Simon Nielsen chuckles there, but that is game number 1. Very quickly going to Simon Nielsen. One big step towards that top 8. And we're underway here in game number 2.
Now things get a lot better here for Anthony after sideboard. Path of Peril is phenomenal.
Is he actually going to hit with Duress this time?
That's a good question.
Simon slow rolling him.
Oh, got one.
Got one.
So you have beach. What do you call
This hand not quite as explosive.
This is kind of funny because this is a really high stress, high stakes match they're playing. But these are 2 of the nicest, funniest players in the field. So they're still just joking around.
Yeah, and they're teammates. So
right, they know each other on top of it. I wonder if it just feels like a playtest game to them.
I just want, yeah, this makes me, I just want to play Magic with Anthony.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Just
totally.
I just want to play some matches. It's battle.
Once again, I reveal this Esper.
Yep. 19.
You can go. You know I've drawn it.
And this is also really interesting. You would think that in this matchup where Anthony got run over, right, that a card like Phyrexian Arena might not be what you want. But Anthony actually bringing Phyrexian Arena out of the sideboard for this matchup.
Yeah, and
perhaps the
okay.
games go a little longer after sideboard.
I'm sure being on the play helps him out here as well.
Yep.
It's going to be Zephyr Sentinel.
21.
Now, if you're on Simon's side, just want to put as much pressure as possible here so that that arena can't take over the game with all the extra cards that it provides.
Right, you want to turn it into your friend.
Right.
It's a little 1/1 unblockable on your side. Can you capitalize?
A winning announcement. Draw card.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Yes.
Anthony does have a Gix's Command, which is quite strong in this matchup. If it can resolve, it costs 5 mana. 1 mana off from playing that. Needs to find a relevant play this turn, though.
What set is that?
I don't know. We asked for one and they gave it to us, and it's the most ridiculous.
They're joking around about which set that particular Phyrexian Arena comes from.
Oh, I mean, it looks a way better one, way better looking one than most of them. Yep.
Okay, Dread Knight's going to hit the battlefield now. But I keep looking at that wedding announcement. You know, the longer those things stick around.
Right. But if you cast a Gix's Command before you get to flip the wedding announcement, that would wipe Simon's side of the battlefield, right? Those 2 creatures in play.
Oh, sure.
Then you can potentially put 2 counters on your Dread Knight, give it lifelink, help mitigate the life loss from the Phyrexian Arena. So
I like how you're thinking here, Paul. That's a good swing.
additionally, if Simon chooses to just convoke out the Knight Errant of Eos, you could go, hey, I want to kill all 2 power creatures and also make you sacrifice the biggest thing that you have in play.
And it happens in that order.
Right.
Officer draw card.
Yep.
Okay, never mind. Just chooses to kind of play a slow game. But remember, Anthony, with that Gix's command, can wipe the board here.
Right.
That's 4 creatures down, and you make a 5/4 lifelinker for the turn.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry. That's really important.
It is, yeah.
Simon only attacked with his Zephyr Sentinel, so he does get a token from his wedding announcement.
It's like the coast is clear. It just feels like
11 to 22.
Yeah. Anthony's
Even 23, but
want to go for it.
I don't think it will matter too much.
Sounds like you haven't played this matchup much.
Simon's just digging on it.
I mean, I did tell you that you're supposed to be the aggro deck, right?
That's
I think Axie said the opposite.
I was like, what are you talking about?
They are very familiar with this matchup.
You can tell.
Right.
Well, Simon's questioning him, you know. He says, you don't know this.
He's just trying to throw him off. Ooh, he's got a Path of Peril in hand as well. There's a Nissa, which is a nice way to kill wedding announcement and the Takahama's welcome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
there
this
it is.
Brutal.
So make this guy kill your guys.
Make this one big, make all those gone.
Yeah.
Go to 16, and you go to 16?
It's for 5
Sorry,
dice, I go to
17. What am I
17.
saying?
Yes, and you go to 16.
I am.
That was nice.
That was very nice. And does Simon even have a great play this turn?
He's just going to need
Play
one
in
pretty
Night
soon.
Navios, but for no value?
Oh. Yeah, that feels like a tough way to come back into the game by trading off.
Last turn, flip my announcement, draw a card.
Okay, so choosing not to, and
Not to.
really wants to get the value.
No, we'll see,
Right,
yeah.
Maybe you draw the Emperor.
Oh, that's actually good. Sick draw.
He has it in his hand for sure. Please. 15?
Some bold predictions here from Anthony Lee.
100%.
He's trying to get a read, maybe. Do you have the Wandering Emperor in your hand?
Well, now you'll know for sure. There's a duress.
First, he predicted that he would draw it off of that trigger, and then he said, maybe you've already got it. Simon didn't really give him anything. We know. Man, Anthony wants to know too. And that's a whiffsky.
Out of all the misses, that's probably a good deal.
Yeah, that is one of those ones where you miss and you actually still feel relieved about it.
Yeah. I mean, that arena, you're just so far ahead on cards, right? And not to mention, you got a nice 4-for-1 or something on the previous turn.
Right.
So now the coast is clear.
So
what's the biggest threat?
Is Simon going to Odawara? Like, is his life total under?
Right, could use the
enough
Odawara
threat?
on the Dread Knight.
Go to 14.
Yep. 5.
Nope, he's going to take it. He's down to 12.
Now, does Anthony play the 3-2 or just keep up, go for the throat here?
Yep.
He's going to keep the aggression rolling.
Oh,
And Simon's going to make a Phyrexian Might token on end step.
So Simon has created his own card advantage engine here. Takahama's welcome, plus Mirex. This ability triggers once per turn, so you play a creature on your turn and then end of turn make a token. So even better, potentially. But does need to find a way to deal with that 5/4 trampling Mosswood Dread Knight here. Anthony has plenty of incredible options at his disposal. Go for the throat plus Nissa next turn.
Yep.
He's rebuilding. One card at a time. Both players with card draw engines rolling.
Yeah.
Feels like the game's still recovering from Anthony having swept the board with the
Right.
Gix's command. Now
Yeah,
we're
this
gonna
is a
see
big turn.
Knight Errant for 4.
Knight Errant of Eos. And again, he's going to be able to pay 4. So X equals 4 here. He's left himself 2 mana available.
He is down to 12.
There's a Zephyr Sentinel. That's going to be it.
Right. Shuffles.
Okay. Just a Zephyr Sentinel. So Anthony can get Simon down pretty low here. Has a go for the throat for the Knight Errant.
Yep.
Can potentially attack in for 8. You have a Foundry as well. There's also Path of Peril. It's a little bit less exciting given that you also have two mana value creatures in play.
Right.
One which is the biggest creature on the battlefield, but perhaps there's just too much in play that he still needs to fire it off anyways.
Like million, right?
Four.
Oh yeah, like basically a million. Zephyr Sentinel counts as, like, you know.
Counts as 3 cards.
Yeah.
Right, then I have 6.
Oh,
That Takahama is welcome, doing a lot of work for Simon Nielsen.
Yeah, he seems to have kind of set up the combo here.
Yeah.
But Anthony's been reaping the rewards from that Phyrexian Arena for multiple turns now, and it's got to feel tough for Nielsen to try to overcome that.
I think he's going to just try to just get aggressive here, perhaps. Go for the throat on the 5/5, excuse me.
Life totals have stayed very close. Again, thanks to the arena.
Now Simon doesn't have 5 soldiers to attack with, so Harbin will not trigger next turn. Can play the Zephyr Sentinel at instant speed, but I still think we're going to be a little bit short. Make Disappear will not be able to counter this, even for 4. Yeah. So I think Simon just has to let this one go. Could play a Zephyr Sentinel to bounce it.
Yeah, I mean, is he going to do it anyway?
No.
To
Looks
get the
like
card and
right. Looks like he's valuing the Make Disappear here still.
okay.
Because this is an attack for 11 for Simon on the crackback.
Ooh. With the Zephyr Sentinel?
With the Zephyr Sentinel, it's an attack for 14.
Ooh.
And Anthony's at 13. And Anthony does not have a lethal attack here.
Yeah,
So if he attacks with both, if he attacks with both and tries to cast a Path of Peril, I guess Simon has to cast Make Disappear, and then he won't have lethal.
Right.
He'll be a little bit short.
Exactly.
Okay, this is
Oh boy.
a close
So
one.
that was 8, so he's down to 4
He is
now?
down to 4. So now what does Anthony do? Do you clear the board? Do you just pass? You do have a creature land available. If you take damage to play the Nissa, you're dead, right? Because you try to cast it, you're going to go down to 9.
Yeah.
It gets countered, and then you take 11.
And you're dead on board if
Right.
it gets countered.
Okay, Path of Peril.
You take no damage.
So can he make Disappear?
So if he wants to make Disappear,
Sack a
he
creature?
also sacrifice a creature.
Right.
And if he does, he will only be able to attack for 9.
Ugh.
So a little bit short.
But it's better than losing his board, right?
Well, potentially. I mean, perhaps these Dread Knights are just a giant problem, right? Maybe you just
Oh.
reset and just flash in the Sentinel.
And get a card.
Yeah, get a card, get it for
Oh.
3, and
Maybe this
worry
is an
about the Dread Knights
opportunity
later.
for him to have his problem solved for him. Let's find out. This is a really interesting inflection point here for Nielsen.
Okay.
He does want to protect what he's got.
Yep. Can he find 4 extra damage here somehow? Remember, he does have access to Odawara. That can bounce the 5/4. So then he'd go down to 1. But
Yep.
remember, Anthony's got a bunch of lands and some creature lands available as well.
That's right.
If Anthony plays an untapped land, he can attack with both the Foundry and the Restless Cottage. And
Oh, he can do both potentially?
Right, because 2 mana plus the Foundry. Then right now there's 3 mana with the Restless Cottage. You just play an untapped land. That's 2 additional attackers.
Simon Nielsen playing for top 8 here. He's up a game, and he's got a 9-2 record. 10 is the magic number.
Do you just play a creature here, draw a card, and reevaluate?
It's starting to feel like that's the option, yeah. Because he can't close out the game this turn, at least with the board as it sits.
Yep.
Here we go. Oh, excuse me. There was a Lunark veteran in the graveyard.
Okay.
And remember earlier where I believe Simon missed a life gain trigger?
Yes, it was 1 life.
And it was like, it might not matter. It could matter here.
Could matter.
Oh, that's rough. He drew a 2nd copy of Harbin. Remember, these Dread Knights trample.
Especially the big one.
Super trample.
Tough spot here for Nielsen. You can see he's deep in the tank. These are the positions that don't come up that often, right?
Yeah.
Really, really close.
Because you want to set aside.
And as I told.
Okay, so you have to think about, look, I want to at least maybe set aside the token for a potential Restless Cottage attack, right? Because that's just already a lethal attack by itself.
Uh-huh.
But then you also, you have Otawara. Let's say you bounce the 5/4. You still need to keep something back to block the 3/2 and the 2/2. I suppose you can take the 3 and just block the 2. So look at this. Choosing the right number of creatures to attack with might just pass here, right?
Yeah.
Attack with both of these, hit you for 7, get you down to 6, have 2 blockers. You can block the Restless Cottage. You can bounce the Dread Knight. You can block the other Dread Knight or the Foundry, and you'd go down to 1.
And he's going to pass the turn back. This is about as close as it gets.
And there's this arena too.
Yeah, I'm wondering, what about for Anthony's side if he does the play that we saw yesterday with Nissa Ascended Animus, just cast it for full and just immediately...
Oh, absolutely, if he just decides to just go for it. But it's rough because it's like, you can attack with your creature land, which you know for sure we will be able to get in there.
Yeah.
You'll make a food, you can gain some life.
It's a very all-in play.
Or you can just slam Nissa and just go for it.
How many forests are over there for Anthony? Okay, never mind. There's none.
So he would just have super trample. So yeah, that doesn't even accomplish anything here.
Yeah, double trample's double overrated.
Right. It's not like double strike. So that's not actually a thing here. So it's just sizing up your creature lands. Do you just go with the cottage? What happens then, right? If you go with the cottage, you know it's going to eat something. You'll have a food available to you. And that means you'll go up to 8 life. The arena will put you down to 7 next turn. And you have the Harbin, which flies. That's a guaranteed 4 points of damage. But then you have the recruitment officer. Oh, this is a tough turn here.
Extraordinarily close between these two. You can see Anthony Lee kind of lining up his creature land.
Is he just going to go double creature land attack?
Did you see him kind of shrug? He's
right,
like, well, I guess we'll just do it.
But we all Simon's already mathed this out. I'm pretty sure.
It looks like
you go block the 2 creatures on the right, and you bounce the 5/4. You take 3. You go to 1, untap, attack for lethal.
Yes. And Anthony Lee looks like he found no other way forward other than doing this. And you see the Otawara come in there.
I think Simon's going to do it. 0-2 into 10-0 into the top 8 of the World Championship.
Incredible. Block, and that's going to do it. Simon Nielsen is through to the top 8 from an 0-2 start. He keeps World Championship dreams alive. He keeps Player of the Year dreams alive, and he's just secured his Sunday play. And this is awesome, too. As you saw how friendly these guys were with each other, there's a nice big hug afterwards between even the competitors. And yes, Simon, you should be that excited. What a win for him. 0-2 into 10-2. That's incredible.
What an incredible run. I just want you to just imagine, because we've talked about what kind of a heater Nathan Stoyer's been on this year. I just want to know, within the last last 365 days, Simon Nielsen now has 4 top finishes. 4.
That's unbelievable run, and it's no wonder that he's in the running for Player of the Year with finishes like that. Okay, well, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we have more feature match action for you here from the World Championship. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to coverage here of the Magic the Gathering World Championship. Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon. We are in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and we're here at the Magic Con. There's a lot going on outside of just the World Championship, but of course that's where we're focused here with you, because we're down in the feature match area for more standard. And this one, we've got the deck that you'd probably expect the most and the one that you might expect the least facing off. We've got Esper Midrange down there. We've seen that one over time, and you can see that's in the hands of Kozune Kosaka on the left there. But Philippe Gareau on the other side is on mono blue Cauldron, Paul.
I'm not going to lie to you, Marshall. Have not tested with that deck very much.
Wasn't a big part of your metagame breakdown?
No. I did spend a good amount of time yesterday on the floor checking it out. I wasn't sure if this deck was good, but they actually had an 8-4 record yesterday with the deck.
So actually very good.
Actually doing very, very well. And so I want to see this deck in action. Might not be able to give you the most cutting-edge expert commentary, but we'll see what happens.
We'll hang on for the ride either way, Paul. Don't worry about it. Let's get underway.
I do know that when speaking to them, they told me that the most problematic card against Esper was Denick, as it shuts off the combo. With Denick in play, you can no longer target cards in graveyard, which shuts off your Cauldron.
I see.
So
and this is a combo deck.
It is a combo deck, but the thing is, there's two ways to win in this deck. There's, of course, that infinite combo, which when Philippe does that, we'll all get excited and do it. But the other way is to just attack with 5/4 unblockable creatures. The deck's really good at that. You have Training Ground, you have Omen Hawker, and you just have a lot of ways to just, with the Surge Engine, you can just deal lots of damage, and that's their backup plan. And they said it's about 50-50. Most of the time, we just kill you with our 5/4 unblockables.
Can I interest you in a Sleep Cursed Fairy as well? Another beatdown card. Now, speaking of ways to interact, you can see there for Kozune, he's got Lord Skitter, which is another way to mess with your opponent's graveyard while also applying pressure.
Right, absolutely.
Kind of a nightmare, honestly.
This is a lot of damage coming in here from Kosaka, but he is tapped out, right?
That's where you want your opponent when you're playing mono blue
Can Gareau
combo.
figure something out here? We got a Training Grounds. We have the Surge Engine. Training Grounds does lower the cost of activated abilities. down to by 2 to a maximum of just 1 mana, so you can't just do it for free.
Right.
But Sleep Curse, the Sleep Curse Fae now costs 1 mana to untap.
And it's almost there anyway.
Right. Now I'm not into. I don't think Philippe will be able to race in this situation. Racing a Rafine with all these creatures in play is kind of difficult. But
Surge Engine going to get leveled up. Kosaka's going to take a quick gander.
all right, just a little bit of damage here. It's unblockable.
Normally it has Defender. Gets a pretty big upgrade for just the blue mana.
So it's a 3/2 unblockable, and now making it a 5/4 unblockable. And looks like Philippe is interested in just racing here. It's a 5/4 unblockable, and the Sleep Curse Fae. Remember, it can untap here for 1 mana. And I don't think it has any more stun counters on it.
It
so
doesn't. Yeah, you're right.
It can block.
And it may need to. We could just have an outright race here.
Not what I expected
No.
coming in.
And it looks like Philippe's graveyard is already fully exiled, so.
And what's the target here? The target was Rafine.
I saw that.
Yeah, you saw the target?
Did.
It was pretty clear.
Okay, 3 cards. Oh, is there a Wandering Emperor here potentially? No, that's going to get
it's getting discarded
taken
here.
away as well.
Ooh, 4 counters.
Dang.
Oh,
Oh,
is
and
this
there's go for the
lethal?
throat to kill the blocker.
5, 6, 7, 8, 11.
It's 11.
It goes down to 4. All right, what do you have for us?
Kosaka's at 14. And so he's not going to be able to be killed that quickly.
Wow.
And that's going to be game number 1. Wow, what an aggressive draw there from Kozune Kosaka.
And you saw the power of Lord Skitter there. You know,
Yes.
some people play the Graveyard Trespasser, some people play Skitter, and it really just depends on what you're expecting. If you expect a lot of mono red and stuff like that, then that's where you want to be playing the Graveyard Trespasser. It gains you some life and it's harder to kill. But in a matchup like this, where your opponents just don't have any ways to kill your creatures, you want the Skitter. It kills you fast.
Omen Hawker into Sleep Curse Fairy.
Did Philippe miss a land drop?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's on the play.
Remember, this deck only plays 19
He
lands.
doesn't need that many.
Right.
Also went with the classy Bucket Islands from Zendikar.
Ooh, negate on the training grounds.
Oof.
Wow.
So
they
Kosaka has transitioned into a bit of a control game with negate, but he's getting
just, like,
beaten down
attack
by
you.
Omen Hawkers.
Oh, that's rough. I don't know if you.
Jeez.
That's a tough attack there. Losing your Omen Hawker like that.
Land number 3
the
now
virtue
for
of loyalty.
Kosaka. And there it is, Rafine right on time, just like always. Never late. And he discards an additional copy of Rafine, and that gets a counter on his knight.
Yeah, so Philippe's going to be looking to try to combo off here, I think.
Paul, we were talking about how well Simon's been doing this season, and Kosaka's had a really great run as well. 2 top 16s
Wow.
this year.
Yeah, great start here. Ooh, look at this. So goes to attack. Kosaka blocks, and then Philippe plays a Witness Protection, turning it into a 1/1.
Oh.
But
The blue
there's
swords to plowshares?
let's not get too carried away.
Got a little
But
too excited
look, when you're
there.
mono blue, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it for sure. He's going to discard Lord Skitter. But he's going to keep the damage flowing on this knight.
Yeah, and now we got a Rona online.
And we see that same play again.
Got the
Rafine blocks a
Grifter line.
3/3 and he gets shrunk down into a
Yeah.
lowly citizen token
Now,
with
and
no damage. on it.
Kosaka's stuck on 3 lands here. I mean,
Yeah.
Philippe's looking pretty good here. Dealt with both Rafines. Still has to deal with this 4/4 knight. I mean, we have a 3/2 in play. No great blocks here for Philippe. Hypnotic Rifter, one of the important pieces of the combo. Once you're able to generate infinite mana, you then use the Grifter to draw through your deck with infinite connives, and then eventually look to find your Realm Scorcher Hellkite, exile that with the Cauldron, and deal infinite damage.
And it gets huge too, right? The Grifter?
Right, you can just kill them with
Like, if there's nothing
an
in the way.
infinitely large Grifter, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the Hellkite. Oh, flipping the Rona here. All right, just racing here.
Just straight
Just
up.
Plan B.
I wonder how often this really comes up.
I think it happens a good amount of the time, especially in the sideboarded games, right?
Right.
Where your opponents have more interaction.
I
Hey, look.
love decks that have this dual role where they can just beat you down, but like, oops, I comboed you out.
Yeah, it's like, hey, 5/5 Trampler. Now, Kosaka does have a Destroy Evil in hand. Probably want to use it here on the Rona.
Sleep Curse Fairy's been really impressive too.
Yeah, it's really,
I feel like we might be seeing a lot more of that.
it's just a really annoying creature to deal with. Oh, Kosaka going for a racing situation here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And forcing the action on Gareau here.
Still has the Destroy Evil.
Go. Upkeep. Destroy it.
Okay.
He's got it down to just that Sleep Curse Fairy.
5.
I did say it was impressive, but it looks a little less so when it's by
now
itself.
there's no board. You can attack for 3, untap. Is that it? This takes Kosaka down to 9.
That's
But
the best
Kosaka
thing
has
you
Go
can
for the
do.
Throat in hand. Is he just going to go for it here?
Yeah?
I mean, if you're doing this attack, I imagine that's what you're looking for. Otherwise, you just attack with the 4/4.
Right.
Right? Yep.
And there it goes. That's Kozune and Kosaka picking up the match there. Wow, that was impressive. I was not expecting it to go that quickly.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Kosaka was able to muster up a lot of offense there with the Rafine. And the mono blue deck didn't quite have enough. And Kosaka really boarded into just a lot of extra removal.
Felt like a control deck.
Right, you had to go for the throats, you had to destroy evils. It's like, okay, look, I have enough tools to maybe stop you from doing your combo anyways. Brought in negates out of the sideboard and a bunch of removal spells. It's like, hey, look, if I just kill a couple of key things, I think it's just kind of like a house of cards.
Right. It's one of those things where he really only needs a threat or two left over to take over the game.
Because it's like, look, if you just have a bunch of Omen Hawkers and Hypnotic Grifters in play and I just kill everything else, I'm good.
Yeah, that's right. And that's exactly what happened. We've got more standard to bring you here. Let's take a look at Ken Takahama versus Kenji Sego. We're going to actually jump in on game 3 between these two. This is the Esper mid-range mirror match. And that means that we're, of course, fully sideboarded up and ready to rumble.
Yeah, and Kenji playing the version with 4 copies of Virtue of Loyalty as a way to go over to the top in the mirror. Yeah, as I was going around yesterday, I did see some ridiculous board states in Esper mirrors where there were just counters everywhere with multiple wedding announcements in play. And Kenji's team chose to maximize on it. 4 copies of Virtue along with the 4 copies of wedding announcements.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get underway here. Looks like Kenji Sego's the one who's on the play for this game 3.
No white mana there for Kenji. Has Wedding Announcement in hand, but cannot cast it.
Good.
And Ken looks like he's going to be content to sit on Make Disappear and pass the turn back.
Oh, no.
Oh, cancel that order. Fairy Mastermind on end step as well.
Kenji with some mana issues here.
So we're going to see Yuta, the magic card, not the player, flying in for 2. And being annoying, right? Like, that's the kind of card that's just pesky.
As fairies tend to be.
Indeed, that is part of their identity. Ooh.
It's got to get countered here, right?
Kaido Shizuki? Can't let that one hit, can you? It just gets out of control. I mean, they draw a card straight away.
I think
It's gonna
Kenji's just figuring out which counter spell to use
That's
here.
right. He had Make Disappear available as well, but decided to use Negate. Another go, missing land drops and still missing colors.
Kenji can't seem to catch a break whenever we have him in the feature match area.
Yeah, that
here.
does seem to be the case, doesn't it?
Ooh. Edgar.
Yeah, he went for Edgar, but that one did draw the Make Disappear. Here's an opening, and there's a land now for Kenji.
Okay, Denik.
Sure.
That gives you the white mana now, if it doesn't die, to play the wedding announcement on the following turn with the Plaza of Heroes in play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, drawing his way back into it here.
Oh, before attacks. This is a nod once again to Kaido Shizuki, probably.
Yeah, but go for the throat probably here.
If you're going to kill it, you want to kill it before the attack happens. But
probably want to keep it around for a potential Shieldred.
Mm.
And just kill it end of turn and take the 2. Also represents counters. Yep.
And there it is, end of turn, go for the throat. Also could be a bluff in that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this case, it's not, though, and Denik's getting in there.
Clawing back in, got the white mana, get in. All
It's
right.
happening. All right, never mind. Go for the throat right back at you. But as we know, it's not a great answer for Denik.
Nope. And if I wonder if Kenji drew a 5th mana source to play around Make Disappear. Nope. Just disturbing the Denik.
And wants to know if it's going to resolve or not. And the answer
Yep.
is nope, it's not. So we've got a proper grind fest on our hands here now, Paul. Just one for oneing all over the place.
Coast is clear now for a wedding announcement.
This one's hard to one for one with.
And now Kenji doesn't have white mana again.
Oh,
right?
the Plaza.
The
there's
Plaza
an
only
underground
taps
reef.
for mana of legends you control.
That's tough. Speaking of legends,
Lord Skitter.
there's Lord Skitter.
Okay.
Does it have any? Is there a Denik in the yard?
No, there's a go for the throat though. I think that's Ken might be Ken's last card.
You're right.
He has no more cards left, so he's
And that was on
Yep.
end of your main phase before
combat. Okay.
So he's out of gas, but he has wedding announcement.
Right, and whatever he drew. Okay, and
hope it's
Kenji
good.
does have a couple of cards here. A wedding announcement he can't cast. Oh. What else is Kenji working with here? Just only blue and black mana.
Yeah, probably white cards.
All
Ken's
white
leaning-
cards.
Kenny's leaning really hard on this wedding announcement right now.
It's going to draw him a card here too.
Really needs you to RSVP for this thing, Paul. Like, don't ignore it. Save the date. Okay, it's going to transform, as you mentioned. He's going to get the card.
Wow, and just nothing here from Kenji. Okay.
Back in business. He's got the Denik. And it looks like a Fairy Mastermind here for Ken Takahama.
Yeah, I see a Fairy Mastermind and a Rafine's Tower, I think, so it might just cycle that as well. And I wonder
Does
what
Ken just have the one blue source, or does he
Ken's
have more?
considering.
He has a Seachrome Coast as
Yeah.
well. He could just activate it, I guess.
could, but I think that's a Rafine's Tower. I think you're just going to go for the cycle there instead and not let Kenji draw out of that. It's pretty clear that Kenji has a bunch of spells that he just can't cast out of his hand.
Right.
Virtual of Loyalty, Wedding Announcement, cards like that. If anything, you'd be looking for a removal spell just to kill the Denik.
Mm-hmm. Fairy Mastermind comes in. Down to 8 goes Kenji. Oh, and another wedding announcement. Starting to tip the scales.
Yeah, I mean, now at this point, if Kenji finds white, it just might be too little too late.
Right. These wedding announcements just take over the game. Take some return or two. You know,
Yeah.
they're not the kind of card that you play and it's just over. But, you know, when you don't have answers for it, you're in Kenji Sego's seat, you're looking and going, well, I'm not going to come
Okay.
back from this thing.
Okay, so now Kenji does have white mana, but at 8 life, with everything that's in play, it's going to be tough. Oh.
Now we're going to see the Fairy Mastermind activated, though. This was end step. Still end step. Okay, well, he found his answer.
All right. Well, now these 2/2s can't attack this turn, right?
Right?
Got to wait for that wedding announcement to flip. So can Kenji turn it around here now?
Possible.
Ken has a bunch of cards, though, right? Drew off the Urtai, drew off the Fairy Mastermind, drew 2 cards off the Fairy Mastermind. So that's 4 fresh cards here for Ken Takahama.
Got to think he's feeling pretty good from that position with
Removal.
all this mana available.
Yeah, removal spell, like a cut down on the Denick would be fantastic here. There it is.
Paul. Ken agreed.
Like, yeah, you know, that's not bad. Boom.
And now we can just jam one of them. You may go to block.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's
wait,
too
there's
much.
more. The Wandering
Oh.
Emperor is going to give that thing counter and first strike to win the
Yeah.
fight against Urtai.
So just
Still
have,
4 damage.
so
coming
just
through,
have to
too.
deal with a Wandering Emperor, a flipped wedding announcement, and another wedding announcement
Yeah, and all
Yeah.
the tokens. Yeah,
at 4 life.
got to do all of those things.
All of those things.
And you have 1 turn to do it. These players are sitting at 8-3 and 0, so they're very much in the mix for top 8. A win here, big step forward.
Absolutely.
Denick,
Nope.
Denick go. Believe that's a Seachrome Coast that he's got.
Yes, so does have access to white mana here.
Yeah.
But
Is there anything? Oh, it's another, cut down. He's just using these as tempo plays, but they're working really well.
So now Kenji needs two, yeah.
No, he doesn't have it, and Ken Takahama picks up the win and improves to 9-3. That'll give him a win in the next round.
Yeah, 9-3 with a winning in with, what is that, 2 rounds to go. So 2 chances at a top 8 here for Ken Takahama.
So Ken is right there on the precipice. We'll see if he can close that out. Now we've got even more magic to bring you here. You see Eli Kassis and Alexey Paulot. This is domain control versus Simic.
These
Cauldron
Cauldron
here.
These
we had
Cauldron
mono
decks are
blue.
crushing, right?
They really are. You take a look at the top tables and you'll find these cards, no doubt about it.
And Eli's deck, let's just say he's not playing the team deck. He started with the domain ramp shell and then kind of just took all the top end out of it and decided to play a Beanstalk control deck instead. But it's been working for him.
Oh, that is great. All right, we are underway now. If you look, these players are also 8-3, and they're also in game 3. So this will be the decider once again.
Yeah, and I would guess
There's a
that
Cauldron.
the reason to play Cauldron would be you would think you might have a pretty decent ramp matchup, right? Just because they don't have, they're trying to ramp up and play big spells, so they might not have that much interaction.
They're kind of doing their own thing.
Right, they're trying to ramp up. But now Eli's deck is a little more interactive, so maybe it's a little different. I feel so underprepared for this World Championship, Marshall.
You didn't spend all your time.
Neither of these decks were on my radar here.
Yeah, they threw you a couple curveballs, Paul, and we're not going to blame you for that.
Simic, Cauldron, and
Yeah,
Eli's Homebrew.
they weren't exactly in heavy rotation pre-tournament. But let's see how things go here.
All right, so
Looks like he's going to use a Cauldron to get a counter on his Awoken land.
Yep. So now you can pay 2 mana to untap. Okay.
What does Eli have, though? He's got this. Oh, there we go. He's got something.
March.
March of Otherworldly Light.
Oh, Tamio's safekeeping though, giving, as it's all permanents,
Protecting
not
the
just creatures.
combos.
Yeah.
Oh, but look at that Sunfall now from Eli Kassis.
All right. Can Alexey reset here? The exile is so relevant here in this matchup too, as that does prevent Alexey from
Cauldron.
Exiling with the
Yeah.
Cauldron. Malevolent Hermit still around.
Never really quite found its home, did it?
It saw some play in sideboards. It does make it so that if you're trying to fight against counter magic, it's pretty nice to have in play.
Mm-hmm.
It now has the counter target spell unless you pay 3 ability up right now, which is going to make things a little more difficult here for Ely Kassis. There's the Up the Beanstalk, the deck that Ely basically built this deck around. Beanstalk control. Ely's like, I don't want to play around this Hermit, so...
And he's going to use
Yeah.
his Incubator token to take out the Realm, the Wrenn and Realmbreaker as well. So
Ely
things
doing-
moving forward here for Kassis.
Yeah, doing a good job of just keeping the board clear.
And when you
Planeswalker
have-
down.
Yeah, and there's another Wrenn and Realmbreaker, though, to at least keep the action flowing. But still, you know, Kassis is at 15. He's got tons of mana. And he's got Up the Beanstalk at the ready as well to keep the action flowing. Feels like he's in a good position. Ooh, he's got 7-drop too.
Bird Migration.
And he gets to draw a card from it as well. And does he have the full amount? He's got 4.
4, okay.
Not very impressive. Just 12 power.
Exiling the Malevolent Hermit here. So now any creature that Alexey has, he can choose to pay a blue to counter. Is that what he did?
That's what he did. Because
Oh, there we go. Okay.
He did get the card, of course, off of it, but
Right. But hey,
Yikes.
don't have to deal with 12 power.
that Cauldron's really annoying.
Yeah.
Now there's Rona.
Okay, so Rona's in play. Oh, getting something back. Getting the Planeswalker back.
Yep.
Okay, proliferate. I'm trying my best here, Marshall.
This is a weird deck.
I'm trying my best. All right.
Alexey's got himself a spicy one. All right, Celestis, land. Oh, another Up to
Okay.
Beanstalk. If this could find him something that costs 5 or more, he could really take off from here. Cast it, draw 2 cards, never look back. But he doesn't have it.
Sack a creature.
Yeah, Shieldred's Edict here.
But Boseiju on the 2/2 to keep his Planeswalker alive. Okay. All right. Look at all
Alexey's
this interaction.
got all the moves, man. This is like impressive stuff. It still feels like Ely is just on the verge, though, right? Like, cast something for 5, draw 2, and just
Yeah. Needs to find a 5-mana card here,
doesn't
though.
have it.
I see, I think, a temporary lockdown, which would remove the Cauldron, but it would also remove the Up the Beanstalks. I believe? Or is it just a No, it's all. Okay.
Yeah, it will take
Yeah,
those
yeah.
out as well. But it
These
looks
are-
like Ely decided that that was worth
Like,
it.
do not combo me off.
Yeah, he can win a long fair game. He's still at 15.
Yeah, I mean, if he still just draws Herd Migration, he's just going to be fine here, right?
Right.
So,
As long as he doesn't get it countered again.
right.
And it's just infinite Wrenn and Realmbreakers flying around.
The Realm Scorcher Hellkite there. Okay.
And another Rona. All right, back
Alexey
over to
is
you.
scrapping here.
Can Ely find a way to not just stop what Alexey's doing, but pull ahead?
Right, because now Alexey's kind of at the point, you got that Restless Vine stock. You can start kind of attacking.
Yeah.
You could even flip the Rona if you want.
Mhm.
Get in for 5. That's a good sign if you're Alexey, right? If
Definitely.
Ooh, but a
That's
Shieldred.
Yeah.
blue-green decks typically have trouble removing something like that.
On multiple levels, they have trouble attacking through it, and they have trouble getting rid of it.
All right.
Oh, we had a backup Cauldron?
Backup Cauldron. What do we got here?
Just going to get a counter, right?
Yeah, so
It already has,
those
the
ability.
abilities, yeah.
Oh,
He's going
okay.
to turn into a citizen?
Witness protection. Boom. Okay.
And yeah, he is going to fire up the land as well.
And remember, when this attacks, so that turns the Rona into a 3/3 with 2 counters. It's a 5/5. So this is an attack for 8.
So he chumped?
He chumps and took 3. All right, Ely, what you got?
Ely needs to find something like real quick now. That life total is going to plummet.
I don't know if this is what Alexey, how Alexey drew things up when he was creating this deck, but it's getting it done.
That was the end. This is plan A.
Oh, okay.
I think he looted that from the Celestis.
Yeah, and Sunfall.
Ooh, that's good. Oh, but wait, there's more. Leyline Binding
Leyline
as well.
Binding too,
And
okay.
you can take out Ren and Realmbreaker.
Or the Cauldron.
Right. Yeah, he kind of has to do Ren and Realmbreaker, right? Just because life total, like that's the thing that's making the threats.
Right. Okay, well, we can still try to find a creep.
Jeez.
There's
And
a permanent. There's another
Rona.
Rona. You can use a Cauldron here to, I assume there's something in the graveyard. Wait, attack for 2? Oh, does Ely have like Wandering Emperor? Why would he attack for 2 there? Oh,
He's got a Gonjo, but
okay,
it's going to get protected by Tamiya Safekeeping again.
There's so much
This
back
is
and
a
forth.
weird game.
Oh, and that dies.
Oh no, he loses it.
Okay, so now we have a 2/4 Rona. A Shieldred's been exiled, but that's a triggered ability, so that doesn't do anything. 6. Oh!
He's going to make it a
It's time to get in.
big trampler with fire breathing.
Well, it's got 1 in a red, or excuse me, it's 2 colorless, 1 damage to any target.
Okay.
What this card has now.
Oh yeah, right. Not
Right.
fire breathing. Worse than that. Or better than that.
Oh,
I mean.
go for the
but there's
throat!
go for the throat. Take it down.
Oh,
All right, this
game's pretty epic.
yeah, and I think that they're getting right to the end of things here as well. Because this is game 3, and this game, you know, I'm sure you can notice we've got it slightly sped up.
What just happened here?
Is that his graveyard? Wow, that's a pile. And that's turn 1, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah, see that die just showed up?
Oh,
That was a judge placing that there, and it's on nothing.
wow.
So I'm kind
It's
of assuming.
So this is Ely trying to get the draw here.
It's hard to imagine you can get him from 24 to 0,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I guess,
Oh,
is that Glissa?
that's an annoying one. But remember, if you can exile another creature, that token can then just kill the Glissa, right?
Right.
You just ping it 3 times. And is that a 3/3 beast?
Yeah. 4/4 now.
Okay. And Ely's at 12. So Alexey has this and another turn to try
Right.
to end the game.
He's got turns 2 and 4, and Ely will have 3 and 5.
Can just kill the Glissa here and put another counter on this creature and get in for 5.
It's really close.
If you have a land, you can deal 6 damage.
And a little library check here
What
for
is
Alexey
happening
as
here?
well. Looks like he's got plenty of cards. This has to be the craziest game we've covered this weekend, Paul. This is just ludicrous at this point.
Yep.
Paul and I are like, what does Argoth do
Yeah,
again?
I'm
this
like,
is just
that's an Argoth?
ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to look that one up because he negated it.
Yeah, but remember now, can't kill the Glissa but now the Glissa can attack, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's got first strike and death touch. This is
Yeah.
turn 3.
Oh, yeah, I played only one spell. Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
this is Celestis day-night life
Right,
game stuff that's
right.
happening or not happening, as it were.
So now you can. Do you just? Okay, block.
Just gonna chomp.
Okay, so now let's see. We're looking at 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. Is that enough? 8
Not
damage?
currently. Azorius Proving Ground's going to get cycled.
I don't know if Alexey has enough to close this out in one turn.
And he only has one more turn to do it. Turn 4 is his
is this
last
Sunfall?
turn. Oh, it is. That has to be the biggest stop sign, speed bump, whatever you want to call it, to make it sure, so that this is going to end up being a draw.
It seems that way, Marshall. I don't know if there's a definitive winner after that Sunfall.
That's turn 4 now for Alexey.
Unless he can you combo off with one card?
That's unlikely. I remember when you first described what this deck does, and it was a lot more. But you know what? Alexey, show me. I want to see it. No, this is turn 4.
No, this is turn 4.
Yeah.
I mean, not like Ely's going to win on.
No, he doesn't have a way to do 24 from
All right.
board state, but Ren and Realm Breaker. Alexey going over any possible options he can come up with. Is there some way he can chain this into
I don't think so.
combo pieces or something?
You can animate your land.
Maybe
but
minus. Try to find something
minus,
here.
Okay. Okay. Ely having a little chuckle here. This deck is really good at milling itself.
He is putting a lot of cards into the graveyard. Maybe this is what the counting was about before, even though he had like 20 cards left. But
this isn't going to do it.
He's not going to be able to win from this position. So he just has to say go, and that means that we're going to have a draw. Wow, round 12 draw. I wonder what implications this is going to have for these two players and for everybody else.
Right. I wonder what a record like 9-4-1 does. Does that get you in? You know, we've never had a 105-person tournament before.
Right.
So the math is all totally different now.
We're used to it when it's 300, 400 people or 24, but not in the middle. And this is, in fact, a draw. The match ends in a draw, as you can see there. 1-1 from the judge.
So in order for...
He does not look happy about that either.
Yeah, that was tough, but I mean, Ely kind of hung around. Right, Ely hung around, and I don't think it was clear who was necessarily going to win that game from that point. So.
You know, because I keep going back to the herd migration, right? And if that had resolved, all of a sudden Ely can start hammering, close out the game, manage the planeswalkers. He wasn't able to resolve it, but maybe there's another one coming, and that is a way for Ely to kind of flood back into the game.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen like that, and instead it was a draw. All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be at the news desk with Maria and Lonnie. Don't go anywhere.